Hey, what's up, guys? Jag from Jaggy Sports, and yes, I this this thing keeps going round and round and round and round, just like a freaking tennis ball, just like a bowling ball. It's crazy because Zion Williamson, which they said was out, then he posted that picture, or sorry, the video of him dunking, and then well, he didn't post this, but there's video of him practicing with the assistant coach, going one-on-one with him. And so, I think he's being held back, and I've said this before. I think he's being held back by David Griffin and the Pelicans management. It reminds me of the Bulls when they tried to keep Michael Jordan when he broke his foot, right? Like, it's all that scenario all over again. And there's a really good take on this whole situation. Stephen A. Smith says it, he basically calls it, Zion Williamson does not want to be in New Orleans. Does not want to be there. And, whether that be true or not, he looks healthy. He looks healthy to me. And so, we'll be able to tell. But I want you guys to check this clip out because, it's further evidence that he's fully healthy and he's willing to play. But it's to me personally, it's the Pelicans management that's holding him back. Check this clip out.
The update is the update. Z is still out indefinitely. He's still working towards being fully healthy, which he's not, but he's getting there, and we'll update you guys as we get to that point, if we get to that point.
Brian Windhorst back with us. Wendy, how does all of this make Zion and the Pelicans look?
Not great, Molly. I think this video that he put out, while it was amazing to watch and a big reminder of why we're all such big believers in Zion's talent, it really kind of laid bare the issues that Zion has with the Pelicans organization. What I mean by that is that he wasn't cleared to do this. He hadn't been approved to do this type of action, and he's doing it, to send some sort of passive-aggressive statement. And this happened back when he was a rookie, when he was coming back from his knee injury. He wasn't happy with how the Pelicans brought him back. He thought it was too slow, that he hated how they had him in little short bursts. And then this year, he sits down after keeping the injury completely private. He comes down and says in his only interview he's given in a year that he was going to be back for opening night. And then he has setbacks. And because he has setbacks, the team wants to be very, very careful. So they want to bring him back slowly. But he wants to go back faster. When he has a setback in midseason, he leaves the team for 2 months. This is just an example of Zion and the Pelicans just not having a healthy relationship when it comes to injuries. And because he's dealt with so many injuries, it's vital. And so, meanwhile, I don't know what the Pelicans' schedule was for ramping him up. Maybe they were going to clear him for one-on-one yesterday anyway. But from the outside, it looks like he put that video out and gets cleared to advance in his workouts. And so what's to prevent him in another week, if he hasn't been cleared to go to 3-on-3 or 5-on-5, from him putting out another video? It's just not an indication of a good relationship. And that's what has been bubbling under the surface of what could be a beautiful relationship, because this guy is so good, Stephen A.
Wendy, you are absolutely 1,000% right. I just think that you didn't provide the finishing sentence. And that is this. There isn't much of a relationship because Zion Williamson doesn't want to be there. Let's just call it what it is. He doesn't want to be a New Orleans Pelican. He wishes he was somewhere else. And that's why the focus should only be on Zion getting back on the court. The rest of the organization should be focused on Mr. David Griffin. Now, I like Griffin. I like him a lot. I thought that he did a damn good job in Cleveland. LeBron didn't win that championship by himself. Yes, he had the services of Kyrie and Kevin Love or what have you, but he also had an executive in David Griffin who worked diligently to give them the things they said they needed in order for this team to ultimately win a chip while still remaining highly competitive. Now, obviously, LeBron James had everything to do with that. But nevertheless, it's not like the cupboard was left bare and he wasn't provided any kind of support. So I was supportive of Griffin. I'm supportive of him in New Orleans. I think that he's a hell of a basketball mind. Sometimes, Wendy, and I think that you can appreciate this because I don't have to do any more what you do because I'm on TV all the time hosting shows, even though I obviously still have a lot of connections. But you are on it on a day-in, day-out basis, and you're on top of this. So I can say this to you, and you're going to appreciate this. David Griffin is one of those dudes. And I don't say this as a negative. I say this as a positive. He's got the ego of players. He got something to prove. He wants to prove all the time how gifted he is as an executive, as opposed to laying back and realizing he's already proven it. And he shouldn't have anything to prove. Just do your job. He gets rid of Alvin Gentry after swearing up and down that Alvin Gentry is his guy. Then he goes the Stan Van Gundy route, and you only let him stay there 1 year before you got rid of him. Now you got Willie Green, and I'm very happy with Willie Green, and I'm not even judging him by this year because you had so many injuries, and Zion hasn't played the game, and Brandon Ingram has been unhealthy. You got C.J. McCollum there. Ladies and gentlemen, let me put y'all on notice about C.J. McCollum, formerly of the Portland Trailblazers, now in New Orleans. The brother's averaging 26 a game in the 16 games or so that he has played. He's averaging 26 a game, on 50% shooting from the field and 39% shooting from three-point range. Plus, he's a consummate professional. He's going to show up. He doesn't wilt in big moments. And you put him on a court with a healthy Ingram, a healthy Zion Williamson, with guys who actually want to play and want to be there, with some of the other pieces that they have. I got news for you. New Orleans could surprise some people. Maybe not this year, but they could surprise some people. But the reality is, Wendy, Zion don't want to be there. And when he put out that video, it was the latest example of how they're not on the same page. He wants to play. He might be anxious to play, but he wants to play and averages 27-7 and win games and do enough to solidify his status as a young star in this league while always praying somebody will get him the hell up out of there so he can end up in a market like New York or L.A. or something like that. That's Zion Williamson. They can say what they want, but I've heard enough to know that this is what the brother would prefer. And so when you've got Griffin holding him out, you've got a situation where a player in his camp may not necessarily trust Griffin, and they might think you being held out because we want you to play next year, because the more you show now, the more pressure might mount to get me the hell up out of there, which is a problem that Griffin may not want to deal with. I ask you this question, Wendy. Has what I said made sense to you?
Yes, it does. And I mean, the fact that Griff was so aggressive at the trade deadline to go get C.J. McCollum, which is looking like a hell of a trade, is, I think, to prove that the Pelicans can be a playoff team even without Zion, and whatever that might get you. I also want to point out that if the Lakers end up with a top 10 pick this year, the Pelicans get it. And right now, they're right on that line.
That's right.
They're right there at the 10th pick. And they play them twice more. And they're going to be playing for that pick to push them not only back to 10, but maybe to push them to 11. The other thing I'm going to say is that this summer is a huge moment for Zion, because he is eligible for a contract extension. And we have big decisions. Does Zion want to sign it? Is he prepared to commit himself to that team for another 4 or 5 years?
So basically, there you have it. They said it perfectly. And Brian Windhorst basically just says it on record that Zion Williamson has the option to sign a contract extension. And what it boils down to is, does he want to be in New Orleans long term? So, you guys tell me, okay? I want you guys to tell me, is Zion Williamson going away? Like, does he want out? After this season, does he want out of New Orleans? And if so, tell me where you guys think he might be, because I already told you guys where I know where he wants to be, but I just want to hear you guys' opinion. Is he out or is he in? Jag from Jaggy Sports.